Hi, I'm Maren and welcome back to my channel, Maren Makes It. If you're new here, then welcome, and if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. This week, I wanted to take you guys along on a little adventure with me to the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta. If you guys have never heard of this event, don't worry, I hadn't heard of it either before I moved to New Mexico, but it's actually an international event that draws people from all over the world every year. I'm about to take you guys along to the fiesta so you can see what it's all about, and I'll give you guys kind of my honest opinions, experience, and review in the process. Hi guys, it's Maren. It is again 3:30 a.m. that bright morning time. We're gonna try this with the balloons again today. I just checked the weather and it says just cloudy, no rain, no chance of rain for the next few hours. So fingers crossed, you guys, that this is going to work this morning. I say this morning because Balloon Fiesta is actually not just a one-day event. It happens annually the first week of October, so it's 9 days long. So it's over the first 2 weekends in October and then the week in between as well. I actually went yesterday and vlogged the whole day, but we were actually rained out. So my ticket wasn't refunded, but I was given a rain check for the following day so that I could try my luck again. So that rain check day is now today. And so I'm waking up at 4 a.m. for the second time in a row. And today is actually also the last day of Balloon Fiesta this year. So it really feels like my last chance to get some video of this event. So I'm definitely gonna layer up pretty hard for this one. So I'm wearing a long sleeve. I'm actually wearing 2 pairs of leggings that I have layered over each other because I know it's gonna be a chilly morning out there. And then I'm gonna put on my flannel. And this is why I like having oversized stuff because it makes it really easy to layer even over a sweatshirt. And then over that, I'm actually gonna put the down jacket. And if you guys watched my Goodwill Thrifts video, you'll recognize both this flannel and this men's jacket, which is gonna be the perfect sort of outer layer over everything today. And then as it gets a little bit warmer, I can always take off layers, but I think I'm gonna be really happy to have this. I also love this coat because it has these enormous pockets in it, so I can basically just load it up with whatever I want. I'm gonna do hair up though, so it's not getting in my face while I drive. And then it is gonna be time to go to the bathroom and get in the car and get a roll in. I did feed the dog too while I was making coffee, so she's ready to go. She gobbled up her food super quick. I don't know if all dogs do this, or it's been actually interesting to kind of observe which pets are like gobblers and which ones are grazers. And this is as good as it's going to look this morning, guys. All right, guys, so I am about to head out of here. It is 4:30 a.m. It's 47 degrees out. I'm wearing the same outfit as yesterday, actually, because I figured I was so warm and perfectly comfy that why would I change that up today? I'm excited. Guess what? We have some puddles from yesterday, but no rain. So let me use the driving time to give you some background here on where we are and what we're going to see a little bit more. Before I forget, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more awesome adventure videos like this one in the future. And now here's some background on Albuquerque. So Balloon Fiesta takes place in this giant park. It's located in northern Albuquerque between I-25 and the Rio Grande. So Albuquerque is the largest city in New Mexico in terms of population. However, even though it is the largest in population, this is one of those states where the largest city is not the capital city of the state. I always think that's really interesting how some states, the capital city is the largest city, and in other states, that's not true. The capital of New Mexico is Santa Fe, which is about an hour north of Albuquerque, and that's where I've been doing my house sit. So that's where I'm driving from now. So this is actually a pretty special year to be going to Balloon Fiesta because it's actually the 50th annual Balloon Fiesta. They started in 1972, and this year that I filmed was 2022, and it's the 50th. In all those years, the only year the event was fully canceled was 2020 for obvious reasons. So remember when I was telling you they started in 1972? Well, that first Balloon Fiesta had, guess how many balloons? 13 balloons. Now there's over 500 balloons, and this event draws over 800,000 visitors annually over the 9 days of the festival, which is pretty impressive considering that the population of the city of Albuquerque is only about 500,000. So now you suddenly have 800,000 visitors coming in over the course of this week. So you can imagine the amount of infrastructure around this event that has to be in place to be able to host this many people in a city this size each year. So where are we going right now? Right now we're actually driving to the Coronado Mall, not because I want to go shopping on the way, not that the mall would even be open at this hour, but there's two big malls in Albuquerque, the Coronado Mall and the Cottonwood Mall. And from both of those malls, they do a sort of carpool shuttle bus system. So you park at the mall and then you take a bus to the actual Balloon Fiesta park. There is some parking at the actual park, but it is limited. And so this is just kind of an easier and, in my opinion, faster way to attend the event than to deal with the parking there itself on your own. So I just parked here at the Coronado Mall. You can see people here off in the distance starting to line up and congregate around the school buses they use as shuttle buses. Oh my gosh, this feels like a real throwback right now, waiting for the school bus in the early morning, in the dark, in the kind of cold air. Oh my gosh, guys, I totally forgot how small these seats are, but luckily it's not too long of a ride. Also, the mood is always very festive. I'm not sure if these decorations get put up for the kids because obviously later in October is Halloween, or because of Balloon Fiesta, but either way, I'm enjoying the festive spirit in here. Okay, I'm whispering because I always feel like it's awkward to be vlogging in public and just sort of narrating what's happening around you.
Thank you so much.
But basically now, just like at school, the buses pull through a drop-off line and then they're gonna drop us right at the door of the event, and then we're just gonna follow the crowds into the park. Now, there is never a guarantee that you will actually get to see the balloons launch. Like I mentioned before, it's actually been canceled 8 out of the 14 sessions of balloon launches this year. That is a record high though, that's unusual. So for comparison, in 2017, 12 of the 14 balloon launches were able to take place. So only 2 were canceled due to weather, and that is, I would say, much more typical for here. One of the reasons why Albuquerque evolved as this hot air ballooning hub is actually because the weather is so dependable. Actually, 76.3% of the days are apparently sunny, according to one article I found. That makes it the 11th sunniest city in the USA. And for reference, the same list put Denver at number 20 with 69.8%, which is kind of funny because when I moved to Denver from New Mexico, I thought it was so cloudy there, and everybody thought I was crazy for thinking that, but I guess it really just goes to show that it's all relative in the end, and it depends on what you're used to. Also, I'm not sure I buy this whole days of sunshine thing because it seems really hard to actually measure that. Other articles said that Albuquerque has about 310 days of sunshine, which is actually closer to 85% of the days. I think it kind of depends also, how do they count partially cloudy days, and how exactly do they define a sunny day? Okay, I'm definitely overanalyzing this now, but anyways, it's generally very clear skies here and very dry conditions, so your chance of rain or wind or fog or snow that would prevent balloons from being able to take flight is generally pretty low. If you're coming here for a visit though, and you're really coming to see the Balloon Fiesta, I would definitely plan to be here though for at least a few days of the week, just in case the first day you come, you do not get to see the balloons launch. That would be pretty disappointing to travel here just for this event and then not get to see it because of weather. Or what if you like it so much and you just want to come back for a second day? Plus, there's plenty to explore and do in Albuquerque and in New Mexico if you find yourself having extra time. So on a clear weather day in perfect flying conditions, they're gonna actually launch the first balloons before the sun even crosses the horizon. This is called the Dawn Patrol, and it's truly spectacular to see the lit up balloons against the dark sky. Other times there might be planes or drones flying overhead to commence the event. Neither day I went in 2022 did I actually get to see the Dawn Patrol, so I'm putting in footage I took from a previous year. That's kind of something special about this, that no 2 years or 2 days will be exactly the same experience just based on the weather conditions alone. Anyways, if you see different weather conditions in my pictures or in my footage, it's because I'm incorporating clips from multiple different days to be able to show you guys the most full possible experience that I can. So yeah, there's a lot of waiting around here. Wear comfortable shoes. Your feet are gonna thank you. Actually, lots of people bring folding chairs and blankets though as well, so they can sit and wait instead of standing and waiting, which is a pretty smart idea. So let's use the time while we're waiting for more balloons to talk about the park setup. So the way Balloon Fiesta Park is set up is that you basically have an enormous field that is used to launch the balloons. On the field, you'll see the ballooning teams setting up. Around the outside of the field, there's lots of different vendors. So we can take a look through some of those while we're waiting around. There's also a balloon museum here, which is open Tuesday through Sunday, and that's actually year-round. So you can see the huge crowds of people that are here, and I'm sure this isn't even a lot for them since it's the last day of the fiesta, but honestly, all the better for me because it makes filming quite a bit easier when there's less people here. I am going to make a beeline for the Pinon coffee, I think. So this is a pretty uniquely New Mexico thing. It's basically Arabic coffee that has a small amount of pinon nuts roasted in with it to give it flavor. Pinon nuts are a type of pine nut. So pinon trees are from this region, and actually they are the state tree of New Mexico. So the tradition of using pinon nuts in the area goes back hundreds of years to Native American groups in this region. What does pinon coffee taste like? I would describe it as buttery and nutty and not acidic and sharp like some coffee. It's hard to describe, but I would highly recommend it. I'm usually not somebody who likes flavored coffee, but I do really like pinon coffee. So basically you'll be able to buy all the souvenirs that you could possibly even need or want here. Basically anything in the shape of a hot air balloon or with a hot air balloon on it is available for sale, as well as lots of local jewelry. Personally, I'm of course always drawn to the Native American jewelry that is so typical of this region. Oh my gosh, I could make a whole video on that alone. Food-wise, you can pretty much get anything here as well, from fried dough to hot dogs to corn to popcorn. My stomach could not handle fried food like that at 5 a.m., but the people are lined up long, so I guess I'm in the minority there. Okay, so let's head back to the field to see some balloon launches up close. So all over this giant field, we're going to start to see clusters of people waiting around balloon launching teams. There's kind of two reasons for this. So one, obviously it's super cool to watch. Two, it's way warmer around these balloon teams because they use a flame to inflate the balloons. And as they do that, it lets off bursts of heat. And it's still pretty chilly out here in the morning before the sun has risen in the desert. All of this happens against the backdrop of a sunrise in the Sandia Mountains, which basically are the mountains that go all along the east side of Albuquerque. Sandia actually means watermelon in Spanish, and supposedly the mountains are named after this watermelon pink glow that we see here, that the mountains take on at sunrise and sunset. And I truly just think this is such a stunning sight. And I actually just learned this whole thing about the watermelon. I'm teaching it right back to you because they just announced it on the loudspeakers here. Somewhere there are hosts who narrate the event and kind of tell you what is happening while you're there, by the way. I've actually learned a lot from that loudspeaker narrating people, or the event hosts, I guess I should say. I've actually learned a lot from them already today. Anyways, these sunrises and sunsets are just something else, so special. And if you ever want to see this from above, there's a tramway over the mountains you can take, or alternatively, try to get a window seat on a flight going east from Albuquerque at dawn or dusk. Okay, I'm committed to watching this one team to try and understand the whole process. I tried to find their information so I could link them below and give them a shout out, but I couldn't find it retroactively. If that changes, I will link to their information below. Anyways, you can see just how huge these hot air balloon baskets are here. It really does look like a giant human-sized Easter basket or something. Anyways, you can see how big of a project it is just to unroll this balloon and how many people it takes. And then the balloon itself seems to be rolled up in a very specific way. This kind of immediately reminded me of a camping tent. The fabric also looks somewhat similar. Another way this is similar to camping actually is that if your balloon gets wet, you can't just roll it back up and put it in a bag because it will grow mold like a tent. And the problem with the balloons is that you can't just set it up indoors somewhere to dry out because they're so huge. So the end result of that is that it's not really worth flying these balloons when there's rain or excessive moisture in the air. If you roll it up wet, you will get mold, and then you can just throw out your balloon. And I don't know how much these cost, but I would imagine it's a small fortune just based on how much fabric there is in front of me right now. And so I can totally see why you wouldn't want to take the risk of flying, as disappointing as we spectators might find that. Now keep in mind, this is happening all over the field at the same time with hundreds of teams. So we can see them here. Let's check back in with our team though. And then what happens is slowly they start to take off one by one, and then more at a time, and it becomes this carefully coordinated, colorful dance to watch. And this part of the event is called the mass ascension of balloons. As you can see, some are sponsored by certain companies, others are certain states, some are just designs, and then of course there are the special shaped ones that are shaped like all kinds of different characters. It's so cool to watch them get smaller in the distance while others are still launching. It's like 360 awesome to watch. You just keep turning around and there's just more to see and more to see. Each year they try to set the record for the most balloons in the sky at once. The current Guinness World Records for most hot air balloons in the sky at once was set in Albuquerque at Balloon Fiesta in 2019 with 524 balloons in the sky at once. That's just amazing to me. And by the way, this is my own real footage from 2019, so I can say that I officially witnessed a world record being made. Oh, by the way, there are bathrooms on the far side of the field. Generally, the lines there are a little bit shorter than the ones on the vendor side of the field. So eventually all the balloons will have launched and people start to head back to their buses, head back to their cars. You can stick around longer. I believe there's sort of events during the day before they do the evening ascension of balloons again, so they do this in the evening as well. But most people are tired because they got up as early as me and they head home for a nap. The balloons themselves have to land somewhere else, and I think it depends where the wind is, where they end up landing. At the end of the event, everybody makes their way back to their cars and their buses. So the buses are leaving constantly, so you don't all have to leave at once or time yourself too closely here. Just take as much time as you want to enjoy the balloons. Like a little lost kid walking by all these school buses trying to figure out which one is the right one back to the mall where I started. Honestly, with the weather, probably would have been fine to just park at the actual park, but oh well. You can also, of course, choose to stay longer, do more eating, more shopping. There's always more of that to do. So I just got off the bus and I'm walking back to my car now. It is, let's see what time it is. It's 10:30 a.m. I'm finally back at my car. I can't believe it's only 10:30. I feel like I've had a whole day of excitement for one day and it's still not even noon, which is kind of crazy. Definitely worth it to come back the second time and take them up on that like refund of the ticket basically in order to be able to see them actually do the launch. I'm glad I checked the weather though before I left because it would have been a little bit disappointing to come back here and have all of that happen again. In a way it was nice because I really got to check things out without a lot of people there, especially for the purposes of making this video. Have you ever been here? Have you ever heard of this event? If you don't live in New Mexico especially, is this something you'd be interested in attending if you haven't heard of it before? You guys let me know what you think of this video. Let me know if this would be an event that you guys would like going to. Had you heard of it before this video? Is this brand new to you? Anyways, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. You could have been doing anything with your time and you were here with me watching this video. Bye, YouTube.